Before the world makes a judgment on Chris Benoit and decides he's killed his family, let's look at some of the police errors. I will go through them very quickly and list some of them off. In order to be fair and kind to the police, I will not just say these are errors. What I will do is say, have the police answered these questions? If you can agree these questions have not yet been answered, and if they remain unanswered, then they are serious police errors. Number 1. Monday 25th of June 2007, 2:30 p.m. Sheriff's police officers arrive at Benoit home, are apprehended by 2 dogs. Can the police explain how, despite their professional training, how and why they're unable to access a house merely because dogs are blocking their access? Question 2, Error 2. The police then speak to a neighbour, Holly McVeigh, and find that she has a key to the house. Why do they not then use this key to enter themselves? Error 3. Holly McVeigh enters with the key while the police stay outside and watch. How do they know that she's not deliberately changed evidence within the house to protect her or someone else as she enters? Error 4. Even though Holly McVeigh may not be a suspect herself, how do we know that she's not deliberately contaminated the evidence when she was present in the house? Error 5. Even though Holly McVeigh may not be a suspect, how do we know that she's not unwittingly contaminated evidence when she entered the house? Error 6. When the police asked Holly McVeigh to enter the house because she had a key, how did they know at that time that she would be safe within the house and would not be risking her own life by entering the house? Error number 7. Holly McVeigh then runs from the house screaming, having seen the dead bodies, and the police cordon off the house, hopefully preventing anyone else from contaminating the scene. Why have the police not come out and clarified how they've differentiated Holly McVeigh's DNA from the way she's contaminated the scene from all the rest of the DNA within the house? This is surely important because it's important to know to what extent Holly McVeigh contaminated the scene either deliberately or unwittingly. This is a different question and needs to be accounted for by the police. Here I am not questioning Holly McVeigh's innocence. What is important here is that given that the police have allowed an outsider to enter a potential crime scene that turned out to be a real crime scene, how have they been able to differentiate the scene before she entered from the scene after? Are they telling us it's the same? Of course it cannot be the same because she's entered and she's allowed to move about. So how have they been able to rule out what she did in their analysis? Having made the error of allowing an outsider in, the police now have a duty to explain how they ruled out what she did in the house, deliberately or unwittingly, from the investigation. This is crucial because Scott Ballard, the Fayette County District Attorney, said, and I quote, "Everything that we look at, still we come back to the same conclusion, that this was a murder-suicide." He's therefore directly confirming that it is important what they look at. Given that what they look at could have been changed and moved by Holly McVeigh unwittingly or deliberately, what procedures have they taken to rule out what Holly McVeigh may have done to the scene? Error 8. The police failed to further investigate and question Holly McVeigh. She ran, escaping from the mass media, to the hills. But the police have admitted they did not question her. Why did they not question her? Error 9. Police entered and exited a few hours later and said this is a double murder-suicide. They were fairly unequivocal about this. But their evidence must be based on visual analysis only. Not enough time had elapsed to do DNA testing or any testing, and no results were back. It was based on what they saw of the scene. What they saw at the scene could have been deliberately left by an outside party to make it look like Benoit had done it. Where was their evidence at that time that an external party had not intervened? They had no DNA results, they had no testing back. How did they know someone else hadn't come in and made it look like that? Error 10. Police error 10. When the police came out and said this is a double murder-suicide, they were speaking to the mass media in front of the house. They were asked many questions, and to 17 of those questions they answered, "I'm sorry, I cannot answer this at this time." Why were they not made to answer these questions later? Surely the police are accountable. Is it not an error of the police to then subsequently not answer these questions when they can answer them? If they say, "I cannot answer this at this time," when can they answer it? Does it mean that they never have to answer these questions? Because there are so many police errors here, I cannot put all these in one video. I will therefore be putting them 10 at a time to allow you to analyze them in more detail. I have now identified 150 police errors. I will therefore be putting up 15 videos, each having 10 errors, each every 2 days.